There you go. That's a good one. Yeah, we're going to London for 5 days. You're going to see the Women's World Cup.
So when you take a vacation? My son goes like, he has a education force. It's mad. I'm just looking at him. Come on, what are you doing? Part of this statement.
You don't think I forgot? Thank you. You guys are on time tonight.
Up when they pull theirs up.
Hi, Mr. Green. Julie.
Hey, Julie, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good.
About to start. You're ready to start.
I'll be doing stuff for the next still 14 years.
Good evening, everyone. The hour of 7 p.m. having arrived, I call to order the legislative meeting for the Woodland School Board for the month of May 2019. Ms. Pugh, will you call the roll?
Mr. David Graves.
Present.
Ms. Sharday Seligson. Mr. Jeff Hanchett. Ms. Terry Lawson.
Present.
Ms. Ronna Curry.
Here.
Dr. Jeff Hildebrand.
Here.
Ms. Paige Strasbaugh.
Here.
Mr. Mike Belmont.
Here.
Ms. Jamie Glasser.
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Is there a motion to accept the minutes from the agenda and legislative meetings for April?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Mr. Belmont. Any questions, corrections, or additions to the minutes? Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. The board met in executive session this evening to discuss legal, personnel, and school safety matters. Mr. Harris, do you have any announcements?
3. 1, since this is May and it's graduation season, I wanted to announce, as of this morning, our graduating seniors have been awarded $6,487,265 worth of scholarships. Dr. Woods takes a 10% cut from all scholarships, and he takes cash. Tomorrow, we will have our second open house for student recruitment. It's 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here at the admin building, 531 Jones Avenue, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. If you have any questions, if you're in a charter school or a private school, non-Woodland Hills student, you can come in, meet some staff members, meet some principals, and you can enroll if you like. We're all happy to share programming with you, new building configurations, and you could meet your new principal. Third, we'd like to congratulate the Mamma Mia staff for earning 9 Gene Kelly Award nominations. They are
Just issue one correction, is really the cast.
okay.
And
The
crew.
cast, Mamma Mia earns cast and crew.
Staff just sort of hangs
And
out.
crew for best scenic design, best costume design, best lighting design, best ensemble, best crew and technical execution, best execution of direction, best execution of choreography, best execution of musical direction, and best musical. That's 228 nominations and 110 awards so far. And the Gene Kelly Awards will occur May 25th at the Benedum Center in Pittsburgh. So if you can get tickets, go down and see it. So congratulations.
Okay. All right. So that will move us on to student speakers. Do we have student speakers this evening from the high school? No? Okay. All right. Good evening, Mr. Chapman.
Good evening, Ms. Glasser.
I should point out that Mr. Chapman is among those crew nominated for the Gene Kelly Award, so congratulations to him.
Thank you. Okay, so as Superintendent Harris stated, we have received 9 nominations for the Gene Kelly Awards. It was a huge success, seeing as it was my first year in the musical. I wasn't in show crew myself, but I did help build the set, so that played a lot of parts in the production itself, which also taught me a lot of things like how to use drills and different types of screws and nuts and bolts and things like that. We also have we have announced our new theme for next year's marching band show, which will be Queen. So they're playing Bohemian Rhapsody, other songs. I'm not aware of those, but yeah, that's the music aspect of Woodland Hills.
One question.
Yes.
What year are you?
I'm a senior.
I thought you were a freshman. Okay.
No.
I was like, you said first year. I was like, oh my gosh.
Hi. Can I move it? So, other things going on in the school, proms coming up, and senior dinner dance. And today there were cheer tryouts, and I cheered, so yeah, all 4 years. And lunch lady appreciation signs, we did those. And there were like teacher appreciation notes, because in Emerod's student leadership class, each senior had like a teacher. First day you wrote like a poem to them, second day you dropped something that they like, and the third day you told them who they were. So that was cool too. That's it.
Very cool. Thank you both. And that will bring us to the presentation of the High School Spirit Awards. Dr. Woods.
Okay, we have 3 winners today because we did the nominations and the candidates were so well respected by their staff, and they done a great job of leadership that I couldn't just narrow it down to two. So I say, let's do all three. So our first one I want to go is Miss Shantae Davis. Miss Davis, please come up. Mr. Maloney nominated Mrs. Davis, and I'll allow him to give us I didn't do that. A few words.
Yeah, so both Ms. Tab and myself, we're just going to read what the paragraph that we wrote to the administration team about each student. So this was the paragraph that I wrote about Shantae. When I think of the Spirit Award, I think of a student that brings an aura or energy of positivity to the classroom, school, and community. Shantae has the natural ability to enhance the people around her. Her outgoing nature and positive attitude was remarkable during this difficult year. She represented the school and community throughout the year. She was a member of the cheerleading squad. She participated with the KDK News Live on radio. She was one of the students to help organize the Black History Month assembly and activities. She was a key member of the Groups Against Violence. While participating in these events, she also maintained her academic success, specifically in my honors English classroom. She has the spirit we look for in our Woodland Hills students, ones that overcome adversity, stay strong and optimistic in all situations, and try to find the best path for success.
Our next, I'm going to say this one. Our next one is Mr. Jaden Chapman. Mr. Chapman, please come forward. Gentle giant. Very well-mannered young man. Never had a bad interaction with him. It's going to be hard losing leadership like this in the building, but these guys have done a good job of nurturing the younger guys, so when they cycle through, we'll keep cycling good products through. So here's your award. I'll let him read your speech.
Jaden Chapman deserves the Spirit Award because he symbolizes what a current and future student, leader, citizen, and human being should be in today's world. Jaden is able to represent his school and community in multiple facets. He's a member of the band. He was one of the leaders for the groups to stand up for equality in the community. He's consistently friendly and helpful to his classmates, and he's respectful to his teachers. In my English 12 class, Jaden is always willing to help, volunteer, share, read, tutor, complete, participate with regularity. A student in today's society must be able to work with others while also standing up for what they believe in. A student must be humble while at the same time be a rebel for their cause. A student must be willing to learn and teach others. Jaden Chapman excels in all of those aspects. He's deserving of the Spirit Award because he is Woodland Hills in action, mind, and spirit.
All right. This next award winner came to me via a storm. And when I say a storm is he won the homecoming king. And the school was in an outrage. How did he win homecoming king? How did he win? I said, it's not a popularity contest amongst your friends. It's a popularity contest amongst the whole school. It's not about reaching a certain group. It's about having an impact in your group and beyond the group. And this next awardee has affected the entire school, the entire community, and beyond. So we're going to hear a lot of good things from this gentleman. The next winner is Mr. Kyle Shea Fogarty. I always put the R. And as you can see, he's in his spirit wear tonight. He's modeling the senior's teeth. Miss Tab, come on up. Miss Tab nominated him. And they have spent many of good hours together helping to promote the great things of Woodland Hills.
Yes, so mine wasn't as elaborate as his, right? Because he's an English teacher. And I had to narrow this down to a paragraph, but I just wanted, I could go on and on. He's like my school son. We have spent the last 4 years together. I've watched him grow into a phenomenal young man. And I may get a little teary-eyed because I'm really sad that he's leaving me. But anyway, Kyle has embraced the high school years with enthusiasm and pride. While being an active member of FBLA for 4 years, serving in the capacity of our parliamentarian for 1 year and president for the last 2 years, he was also the school mascot at all the football games and events. In the heat, in the summer, in the cold, in the winter, he was showing his spirit. He never faltered. He'd be soaking wet. He headed up the Students Against Gun Violence. He was a member of the soccer team, the track team. In the last several years, he's taught JA lessons to elementary students and 7th and 8th graders. He had the honor of speaking at the Junior Achievement Gala this November at a black tie event. He is a member of the National Honor Society, and he was our homecoming king. And he has always been respectful, kind, considerate, trustworthy, responsible. He's an optimistic leader who accepts a challenge with enthusiasm, but he is relentless. If he doesn't get his answer, he doesn't give up. And Dr. Wiz witnessed that today with the senator. He is relentless. And he truly embodies the spirit and the pride of a Wolverine. And I'm going to so miss him.
That's all my awardees. I want to thank the board for this opportunity to highlight our students again. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you for the support. Individuals like this are what makes our school and community what it is, and we'll continue to strive to reach the excellence status that these men and women have established. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And congratulations to all of you. Once again, thank you for being here. Appreciate seeing you. Okay, that'll move us to registered speakers. Ms. Puel, I see none. Is that correct? Okay, very good. So that moves us into board matters. Mr. Harris.
Okay, board matters 2.1. First reading of policy 823, naloxone.
Okay, since this is the first reading, we don't have a vote tonight. Any questions on this policy? Okay, seeing none. 2.2.
2.2, second and final reading of revised policy 707, facilities rental.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Ms. Strasbach. Any questions or discussion on the policy?
Mr. Finney's not here, so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Seeing none, I guess we'll take the vote.
All right, last group.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I said yes.
Motion carries 6-1. Which will move us to 2.3.
2.3, first reading of policy 150, Title I comparability.
Yeah. Excuse me. Julie, you forgot Mr. Graves.
I forgot.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can't.
Reloading the site right now.
Apologies.
Okay.
We'll correct that vote.
I'm doing it right now. Sorry.
Mr. Hanchett, you were a yes on that?
Yes.
So correction, that was a 7-1. Okay. That will move us to 2.3.
Okay, 2.3, first reading of policy 150, Title I comparability.
Any questions on this?
Are we doing 3 readings on these guys? Okay.
Okay. That'll move us to 2.4.
2.4, first reading of policy 918, Title I parent and family engagement.
Any questions on that?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
We've had Title I for several years, and have we been meeting the Title I standard even though these are new policies for our district?
Mr. Clausen's coming up. Hold on one second.
We just got approval. So. Yes. Our traditional community family engagement policy actually does qualify typically or has qualified as our Title I policy. We do turn in our comparability materials every year. We just actually completed an audit of that from the state this year. We had no findings from that audit, and they reviewed those materials.
Okay, so we've been having parent engagement meetings and everything that's associated with Title I?
Absolutely. We have district-wide parent Title I meetings. We have building-wide Title I meetings. We'll have another one coming up here in the spring. We absolutely meet those requirements.
We used to get notices of the Title I meetings. I haven't seen the last few. Could you make sure that those are the board's included on the invitations on those?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Graves?
Yeah, I'm just confused on if we've been doing several of these things for several years. Why wasn't it ever brought to the board for us to have a policy prior to now? It seems like this is something that should have been in place, and I think this is the question I asked last week. That yes, we should have had these policies in place. Now we have them, but it's almost like this should have came forward. If we're already doing the work, it's almost like where's the gap at?
Well, we're looking at all policies and we're cleaning them up as we go. And when we find gaps, we're contacting the state and we're updating all the policies. So I don't know what happened prior, but this is a new policy, although it may be parts of other policy interwoven with it. But we're looking through all policies and making sure we're current.
But I would also say that having a policy is somewhat irrelevant if the state requires us to have these anyway.
Federal government requires us to have these.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I agree that we should have a policy for it, but our current policies were reviewed again as part of our review earlier this year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Okay. Seeing none, again, we'll consider these in a couple of months, but continue to have conversation about them in the meantime. 2.5.
Okay, 2.5, we seek approval of the Resolution 541-19 supporting Senate Bill 34 and House Bill 526 for school districts providing their own cyber learning programs.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Mr. Hanchett. Any questions or discussion on this?
I'd like to make a comment.
Yes.
For everybody who's watching at home, what this means is if a school district offers a cyber program and a family chooses to send their children elsewhere, then that family will have to pay the tuition for the child to go elsewhere since the home district is offering a program. Right now, cyber students, when a district loses a child to a cyber school, the full rate in Woodland Hills' case of $13,900 follows that student to the cyber school. And as anybody with any common sense knows, educating a child at a cyber school is less expensive than doing it in a brick and mortar school. So this will help us immensely. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That'll move us to 2.6.
2.6, we seek approval of Resolution 542-19 supporting statewide cyber charter school funding reform.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Mr. Hanchett. Any questions or discussion on this?
I'd like to make a comment.
Yes.
For everybody to be aware of what goes on in cyber schools in Pennsylvania, from 2013 to 2016, the Pennsylvania taxpayers spent $1.5 billion on students going to cyber schools. And none of the cyber schools in Pennsylvania meet the Department of Education benchmark of 70. It's an amalgamation of various criteria where schools have to meet this benchmark of 70. And none of the cyber schools in PA are meeting that. So when people say we need choice, I understand, but not a good choice is a choice. So I'm pleased to see this too. Thank you.
Anyone else? Comments, questions? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That will move us to 2.7.
2.7, we seek approval to accept a $10,000 award from PNC Bank for the PNC's Young Innovators Code for Your Cause contest.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbach. Any questions or discussion? I just want to take a moment to congratulate the students once again on their success in the competition. I think it's pretty outstanding and a very exciting thing. I'm glad we were involved, and congratulate the students again. Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 2.8.
2.8, first reading of policy 609, investment of district funds.
Again, no action this evening. Any questions or discussion? Okay. Seeing none, move us to 2.9.
2.9, we seek permission to adopt the superintendent's building principal staffing plan for the 2019-2020 school year pending approval of the 2019-2020 budget.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Mr. Hanchett. Any questions or discussion? Okay. All right. Thank you to Mr. Harris and the team for your guidance on this, and thank you to the administrators for your willingness and what I know will be good work going forward in your new facilities. Well, mostly new, some staying the same. But I look forward to positive outcomes from these changes. So any additional comments, questions? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 2.10.
Okay, 2.10, we seek approval of Jamie Glasser, blank, and blank as voting delegates to the PSBA 2019 Delegate Assembly.
Anybody else want to come? All right. Great. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Strasbach, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions?
Where's this?
Hershey.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a different vote.
Yeah, it is.
During their PSBA October convention. It's the last day after everything is over. They go in and hold their vote.
Okay. Anyone else? Anything else? Okay. Seeing no further discussion, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. And that will move us to Section 4, Curriculum 4.1.
4.1, we seek approval to surplus secondary science textbooks and assorted English literature supplemental reading information stored at the high school.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions or discussion?
Word displays in there.
Has there been an effort, or will there be an effort to consider whether other schools or institutions, or whether there's anyone else who can use these materials?
Try to sell them.
I don't know. Biology textbook from 1991.
That's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah, actually there is. I've been reaching out to some of our non-public partners, especially for Title I and some of our private schools who don't have the resources to purchase new materials. We're actually setting up a little sample shop in my office, which I'm very excited about, so that those guys can come and review. We actually have somebody scheduled to come tomorrow, but I might have to reschedule that. So we are trying to, anything that is obviously being surplus, we're trying to find a home for it first, even if it's a donation. In terms of some of the items, looking at the English book room, it's a very small number of books that they're really looking at throwing away, and usually those are old paperbacks that are literally in two pieces or severely damaged, and it's a relatively small pile of those.
Okay. Thank you.
This will be the first of many to follow, since the renovations at the high school. Now they have to go into rooms and empty them, and there are storage rooms full of books that I actually received another couple lists today.
Okay.
So in the meetings to come, we'll have more of these to act on.
Okay. Mr. Vogel, do you have questions?
No, I talked to Mike about it. I didn't understand the verb to surplus.
I understand. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote.
Julie, I'm sorry, I gotta check now.
Okay. Is it a yes or no?
Alright,
Okay,
I'm
you're
good
there.
now. I got back in. Did it register?
It did, yes.
Motion carries unanimously. That'll move us to 4.2.
4.2, permission to approve summer. 4.2, permission to approve summer curriculum writing.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on this? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That'll move us to Section 5, Special Education 5.1.
5.1, approval to renew our contract agreement for the 2019-2020 school year with Aviana Care Unlimited, Inc. for a contracted amount of $45 per hour for RN services, $40 per hour for LPN services, and or $24 per hour for home health aid services, paraprofessional services, from General Fund 10, pending solicitor review.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Actually, this one I don't have any issues with, so I'm fine with that one. It's the next one that needs the review. I apologize.
Okay. Okay. So I have a motion by Mr. Hanchett, a second by Ms. Strasbach. Are the two of you amenable to amending the tab so that we can remove the pending solicitor review portion?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. As that is the case, we will go ahead and vote on the tab as amended unless there's questions or discussion. Okay, seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That'll move us to 5.2.
5.2, approval to renew our contract agreement for the 2019-2020 school year with Bayada Pediatrics Home Health Care, Inc. for a contracted amount of $45 per hour from General Fund 10, pending solicitor review.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Strasbach, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions or discussion? Okay.
So, I mean, there's an issue with it, or?
Yeah, on 5.2, there was an issue when we talked about the indemnification provisions.
Okay.
Which they were just pretty one-sided stuff.
Okay. All right.
You feel as if that's something we can resolve?
Oh, yeah, it should be. I mean, that's why, if it had the same language as the Aviana one, I'd say go for it. So,
all right.
Yeah, we should be able to.
All right. Any additional questions? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries. 7 votes and 1 abstention. That'll move us to Section 6, Personnel.
6.1, Section A, authorization for leaves. Section B, authorization for retirement resignation. Section D, authorization to hire non-professionals. Section F, authorization for EDR mentor actions. Section G, authorization for miscellaneous.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions? We would have to go into executive for that, but is there any reason to do that? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to Section 7, Pupil Personnel, 7.1.
We're going to table that, or should I read it? Table.
We need to read it and then take it off the table.
Sorry.
Okay. 7.1, we seek approval to accept the memorandum of understanding between the Woodland Hills School District and members of the Woodland Hills School District Provider Council, pending solicitor review.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. I understand there was discussion about tabling this. Is there a motion to table?
Motion to table.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion to table by Ms. Strasbach, second by Dr. Hildebrand. We'll vote on the motion to table.
Want me to explain why?
If you have.
Yeah, the reason why the motion for the table is, Ms. Gould, some of my office will be talking to you about it. Some of the language was, there was something that was a little bit confusing. So some of my office will be in contact with you because I know you're the interface with the council. Okay, and just so we can clear up just a little bit of language on it. So that's all. It's nothing substantive, but it's best to work out the language. We'll pass it next month, okay? Thank you.
Ms. Peel, do you want to do a voice vote on the, okay.
I can just open it this way, and then I'll just adjust it in my notes tomorrow.
Okay, very good. Here's the motion.
We're not voting to table this.
We are voting to table it.
Because
We're
no.
gonna-
So is the vote the table, or is the vote the?
Do you want to take a second to adjust the motion?
I thought we were just voting yes, and we're going to table it, and she was going to change the language later, right?
No, you want to.
We want to make that.
We want to table that now, so we're not passing the table.
Yes.
All right, well, all right, it came up. I voted yes, so I thought, okay, we're going to change the language. All right. Well, let's make sure we get it ready. No candy tonight, Jim. Just dessert. Just right. Yeah. No candy. No candy. No candy.
I'm just going to do a voice vote because it's not, we're all going to refresh everybody and it's going to take time. So this is a motion to table
Yes.
7.1. Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Mr. Hanchett?
Yes.
Ms. Lawson? Yes. Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Dr. Hildebrand?
Yes.
Ms. Strasbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes. Motion is tabled, and we will review that and come back with it next month. Okay. That'll move to 7.2.
Okay. 7.2, we seek approval to offer summer credit recovery for students in grades 7 through 12.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions or discussion?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. What courses are we talking about? And like every possible course from 7 through 12? Or what's the, just cores? Right?
We're currently working, the counselors are reviewing students' classes where they are, making phone calls. So it's looking like it's going to be mostly the math and the ELA, but we also have courses that we can do credit recovery through science and social studies as well.
Right. So, but I guess my point is that if a senior failed calculus, is calculus going to be offered?
If it's in the catalog, yeah. Excuse me.
All right, and are there upper and lower limits as to how many students we're talking about? So if there's one student, are we going to offer a student like calculus for one student or algebra for one student or whatever?
That I have to work through. It's basically, we're looking at the classes that they need to pass. So if it's a senior, I would say yes, we have to offer it so that they can earn their diploma.
All right, I'm just trying to get an idea of how many, what we're talking about here as far as...
Yeah, I have the counselors right now going through the numbers for the students. We, through Waterfront, we have the licenses, and those licenses don't expire until the end of July. So we were going to use those licenses to offer the credit recovery for the students.
And that was something I didn't even think about. So they have to have this, okay, by July 26th. Okay, right,
Yeah.
it says it right in front of me there. Okay. I didn't think about that because it's sitting right now. Okay. All right.
So it will be through the online academy?
Pardon me?
It will be through the online
Yes.
academy? Okay,
Yes.
great. Any other questions? Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That will move us to Section 8, Technology and Safety, 8.1.
8.1, we seek approval for the purchase of 211 desktop computers for Dixon Intermediate and Senior High School at a cost of $100,225 from Capital Project Fund 39.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, seconded by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on this?
I have one question, please, Steve. With this purchase, do you have a sense of how close that puts us to a one-to-one student-to-device ratio?
With these purchases of these computers, these are part of the construction, and this is going to replace outdated computers at the high school, so it's not really too many in addition. And then the other ones are brand new purchases for the Dixon School project. There is a second lease that we're looking at on purchasing more laptop computers. Right now, I think we have 680 Chromebook devices that we use throughout the district. And I'm planning right now, and with the budget I have, we can afford to buy 600 more. So it's a matter of just planning on distribution of those resources.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 8.2.
8.2, we seek approval for the purchase and installation of wireless access points at Edgewood School at a cost of $10,427.76 from General Fund 10.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on this? Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 8.3.
8.3, we seek permission to advertise a request for proposal, RFP, for 47 interactive monitors for our high school.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Ms. Strasbaugh. Any questions or discussion?
So if I remember right, these are like sort of the new and improved versions of like Promethean boards and those sorts of things?
Yes, it's a 75-inch interactive screen, and it's for 47 classrooms that are part of Phase 1 at the high school.
Cool. Do you have an idea of what this may total? So what 47 of these may look like as far as...
I'm thinking around $4,000 per device.
4,000 each? Okay. All right, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, take a vote. Motion carries. That moves us to Section 9, Buildings and Grounds. Thank you, Steve.
Okay, 9.1, we seek approval for Wilkins Air Conditioning Repair by Lugalia Mechanical, Inc., totaling $19,894, not to exceed $24,000 from Capital Reserve Fund 32.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Ms. Curry. Any questions on this? Okay, seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 9.2.
9.2, we seek approval approval for the use of facilities by outside organizations for the 2018-2019 school year.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions or discussion? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to Section 10, Food Service and Transportation.
10.1, we seek approval of the nutrition contract for food service for the 2019-2020 school year. This is the third renewal of this contract we entered into on July 1, 2016 that included a possible 4 renewal years.
Okay. It's also pending state approval on the tab at this point. That's been added. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Motion by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbach. Any questions or discussion? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Is everyone seeing that we did add pending state approval on the tab?
Oh, it's not on mine, it's over here. Okay.
Got it. Okay. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to Section 12, Legal Matters, 12.1.
Okay, 12.1, we seek approval to settle the Wilkins Hospitality Tax Assessment Appeal for the 2012 through 2018 tax
You
years.
should say 2019.
Okay, we seek approval to settle the Wilkins Hospitality Tax Assessment Appeal for the 2012 through the 2019 tax years.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbach. That is a motion on the altered tab. Any questions on that?
Does that agreement eventually become public? Because it's not on here.
With the agreement, what it'll actually be a stipulation that it's a court document. So, I mean, we'll be able to provide if they want it, but it's not like a typical legal settlement.
All right. Thank you.
But it won't be attached to the tabs after we...
No, it won't be attached to the tabs, no.
Okay, just for purposes
I'm
of
assuming
clarity.
that would become public record anyway as to what that...
Yeah, once it's executed by all parties, I mean, the document really looks like just a chart.
And the valuation becomes public.
Yeah, oh yeah, the valuation becomes public.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Oh yes, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to Section 13, School Finance, 13.1.
13.1, we seek ratification of the bill list for invoices paid after the April 17, 2019 legislative meeting.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Strasbach, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on the ratification list? Okay, seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 13.2.
13.2, we seek approval of the May 2019 bill list.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbach. Any questions on the bills? Okay, seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 13.3.
13.3, we seek approval of the investment reports for April 2019.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbach. Any questions on the investment reports? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carried unanimously. That moves us to 13.4.
13.4, we seek the acceptance of the April 2019 fund reports and student activity reports for informational purposes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Ms. Strasbach. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 13.5.
13.5, we seek approval of the Forbes Road CTC operating budget for the 2019-2020 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on the Forbes Road budget?
Yeah, I forgot to ask this last year. So, do we know what the anticipated cost is? $5,992 per student. Do we know what the cost was last year per student?
I think we got the bill. I think it was
I'm sorry, I forgot to ask this last week.
52 something a student.
Okay, so it's up $700. Okay.
I'll
I mean, as long as we know
I'll let you know.
as long as we know what it is that we can budget for, that's yeah. But I was just curious how much it went up from previous year.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 13.6.
13.6, we seek permission to exonerate the tax collectors for the unpaid installment-based real estate taxes for the 2018 tax year.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Strasbach, second by Mr. Hanchett. Any questions on the exoneration?
So, just out of curiosity, so if we vote not to exonerate them, eventually do they become held responsible for the taxes that are not collected? Wow, that's harsh. Okay.
If you didn't exonerate them, I think that you would then have to go to court and prove good reason why they should not be exonerated. So, and not pass on to the delinquent tax collectors. So,
it would hold that process up.
yeah, that would.
You know.
Oh, I was just curious if that person was responsible then for. Anyway,
I don't think they become personally liable. I don't think that's...
No, that's what I mean. They're not personally liable for it. Okay.
Yeah, you would have to show a good reason why that wouldn't be the case, because actually, in certain reasons, that's why they have bonds. That's why, some way, they do have liability for that. And so, if you decided not to exonerate them, then the next thing would be, all right, where did the taxes go? And if if they weren't exonerated, there really would be a reason why. You'd have to come up with a reason why. So.
Right. So I'm assuming that if someone never did their job at all, then you would not exonerate them.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
That'd be the situation.
Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Can leave that trivial piece of Pennsylvania law to another time.
Unfortunately, I know some of that stuff. That's the problem.
Yeah, right. Not so trivial. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 13.7.
13.7, we seek to reappoint Valerie Shaver as treasurer effective July 1, 2019.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions or discussion? Okay. Seeing none, take a vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 13.8.
13.8, we seek approval of the proposed final budget for the 2019-2020 school year and Resolution 543-19 authorizing its display and advertising.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions or discussion on the proposed final budget?
I just want to clarify, this is not us approving the final budget, but we are having,
rather, is hosting a budget meeting
Thursday, May
20th?
30th.
The 30th, excuse me. Thank you.
And that'll be here, correct?
Here.
At 5 p.m.?
5 p.m., yes.
Okay.
I'd like to ask Mr. Gigliotti a question. Mike, could you please just highlight some of the cost drivers for the general public so they can be enlightened as to what's going on?
Sure. We've made some cuts to the budget, but unfortunately the big driver still is the charter school tuition. The retirement rate, it's still going up a little over 1% a year, our cost. It's 2% annual increase, and half of that we end up paying. So trying to remember what some of the other ones were. Transportation is a large piece of the budget, as with maintenance and facilities, because we have to take care of the buildings, and special ed. But right now, the largest, the bulk of the increases come from special ed, charter school tuition, and wage increases.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to section 14, Superintendent, 14.1.
Okay, 14.1, we seek approval to allow the Woodland Hills Choral Studies class to travel to Washington, D.C. in 2020.
Is there a motion? Okay.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions or discussion on this? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That will move us to 14.2.
14.2, we seek permission to allow the Woodland Hills High School to establish an American Idol Club student activity.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbach. Any questions or discussion? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. Is there any old business?
I have something.
Mr. Belmont.
I'd like to let the board know, and I think you already do, but just to bring everybody up to speed, we've had meetings on our cell phone policy at the high school. I'd like to thank the administrators, the teachers, and the students for their time in those meetings. I compiled minutes for the meetings. I emailed those to everybody today, and I have hard copies here. I'd like to ask Paige if we could add this to your agenda for policy next week. And when you read through the notes from the meetings, one thing that will come through very clearly is there's a need to do something about the phones in our high school. So I hope everybody deliberates on this with due diligence, because it's something we want to address. Number one, for the benefit of our students, and number two, for the benefit of everybody in the building. But I'm firmly convinced will help the kids. There will be less of a distraction to learning if we get a handle on what's going on with the phones. So I'll thank everybody in advance for their attention to this.
Okay. Any other old business? Any new business?
The new business for myself, mostly for myself, as my time here at the school district is coming to the end. with my youngest son, Chucky. He'll be graduating next month. So next meeting, my kids will be gone. So I just, I wanted to thank, I see him on left. I worked for transportation for all the years. I see there's 3 principals back there who had my kids, Miss Klein, Jimmy, and then Miss McIntyre, now Miss Livingston. Mrs. Mann, who had all 3 of my kids, God bless them. And then up at the high school. And I also like to thank, everybody, the cafeteria workers, because if I had 3 athletes, they get a lot of food up at the cafeteria. And as well as going back to the support staff and the people in the office, as well as the janitors and everybody else, thank you for, my kids got a great education here. They're continuing on, doing very well in college. And so that's, I'm going to be leaving here, and it's going to be left up to the administrators here and the rest of everybody else in the board here to continue on with good work. I mean, everybody, talks about, they say about the bad things that are said about the district, and my thing is, I was like, what do you think my kids are here? It's like, no, they're getting a good education. Your education is what you make of it. That's all. If you, drive your kids and make sure that they take, challenge them, make them take the tough classes, if that's, what to do. And then for my kids who are going to college, that's great. And there's a lot of kids who aren't, and that's fine. That's not necessary. But for the other students who are out there are lots of other opportunities. If you decide not to go to college and trades and everything, they're all dying to get people in there. So I just want to thank everybody here in the district for all their hard work for all these years. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Anyone else have new business? Okay. We covered committee reports last week, but I will remind everyone that committee meetings this month are Monday and Tuesday next week, as opposed to Tuesday and Wednesday. So that's Monday and Tuesday, 5 p.m. here, and you can check the website for which committees are on which night. And that will move us to public comment. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board this time? Okay. Good evening, Ms. Reed. As a reminder, please give your name and address, 2 minutes, and welcome public comment. I'm glad you're here.
Thanks. Darnika Reed, 134 Laniki Street, Wilkins Township. So first I wanted to say thank you, Ms. Glasser. I actually meant to mention this last month. I saw that the special education students will continue to receive certificates when they graduate, even when they walk the stage, even though they're not going to actually receive their diplomas. So I saw that was written in, and I was really happy to see that because I know I had reached out to you last year about that. So I'm happy to see that. So thank you. I also want to mention that I heard about the Rankin police officer, and I heard that he's not coming back. I'm actually not happy about that, and I'll say this because, one, I've discussed this in meetings before. I've met with families and quite a few students in the district, and students who have attended school at the Rankin Promise School. And they have a lot of respect for him. And I will say that with all of the negative press that the district has received, that it's not a great choice or decision to remove him from the district. That's not, and it's not fair either, because I haven't heard any negative comments about him at all. And I heard some things about the process or whatever it was to bring in someone new for security, that whole thing, and it just sounds really messy. And some of the conduct and some of the things I heard about that process, and even the school board director that was involved with that, I'm not happy about that at all. It looks really shady and sneaky, and it's be upfront with that man. That man has not been accused of abusing kids or anything, and I feel like he could make the district safer. Those kids, they respect him, and I don't like the way that he was treated. And I think it's it's wrong. And even though I've never, I just recently met him, but I always talk to the board. I always tell you all that you need to listen to people and you need to research. If you listen to the people in this district, and those kids especially, they respect him. And if you don't know what I'm talking about as far as that whole process, him not being there, you need to ask. Because it's really shady. I don't like that at all. So you need to find out what's going on as far as that. Really, he should be owed. He's owed an apology. It's like if something's working. In that case, he's actually keeping the kids safe. And now he's out of a job. I have not heard of him abusing any children at all. And those kids really do respect him. And even though I'm not a fan of police being in schools, I would not mind that man being in school. I would prefer for him to have been, now my son is graduating this year, but I wouldn't mind if he were working at that high school while my son was there. I would feel safe with my son being there. I mean, I would feel like my son was safe being in school. I would not worry about my son like I have since he's been there, if that man was in that building. So it's like, when things are working, we do things. We always seem to interrupt things when they're going well. I'm really upset about that because that's not fair at all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further public comment? Okay. Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
I moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. See you next month.
Here, buddy.
See ya.